on this computer. Hey guys, welcome. Punk Theology. We got abruptly cut off because of Zoom 45-minute limit. So this is the part 2 continuation of Survival Panic. May. How you guys doing? How you holding up? Everyone's saying that. I might as well throw it out there.
I'm actually doing a lot better than I was. I took a whole week off 2 weeks ago, and that helped a lot. And I kind of settled into rhythm a little bit. The nice weather helps. I got to actually go work outside and run an excavator for a couple hours today, and that made things feel a little bit normal again. And I drove down to Kent at 7:30 in the morning and got there in 52 minutes. And then I drove back from Kent up to Everett at 4 p.m. and it took me 56 minutes. Wow. And it was awesome.
Yeah.
Like that.
That I love.
Yeah, it was so nice. Like almost made it worth it.
Yeah.
Of like, okay, if we could figure out how to keep people home. Yeah, like if we really do embrace the work from home thing and it fixes traffic, this whole thing will have been worth it just for that.
Yeah, no doubt.
Yeah, but good Lord, if you have to go to the bathroom.
Yeah.
Because there ain't nothing open. I mean, let you go in.
No, it does. There is some little higher anxiety there, but
yeah.
Yeah.
I've been drinking a lot of water, and a lot of my places, Starbucks was usually my go-to.
Yeah.
Starbucks or the hospital. I just run in there and use them, but nope, can't. Sorry, pinch it off.
My go-to is usually grocery stores because people are less likely to notice that you didn't buy anything.
That's a good point.
Yeah, doing the Lyft driving, man, that was a big one. Like you had to find somebody, a place to use the bathroom or you were screwed. And yeah, restaurants were always a big one. Yeah, man, I don't know.
Well, they're okay if you know where they are.
Yeah.
Like a restaurant. Like Denny's was pretty safe because you knew if there's any Denny's out anymore, because you knew where they were. McDonald's, they started locking them down. Wendy's is locking them down.
Yeah.
You got to go ask for a code.
Yeah.
Depends on where you are. If you're in Bellevue, sometimes they're not locked down, but
yeah,
you're in a tougher part of town, they're almost always locked down.
Yeah. Well, I'm slowly getting back to normal. I get customers opening back up again.
Oh, that's good.
The Angel of Winds Casino, isn't my customer. They are packed. Yeah. They are lining up there early, and tribal police is turning them away because they're limited to 50% capacity.
Yeah.
But I heard today that the Tulalip's is going to open at the first of next month, June 1. Okay. There's just too much money to be made.
Yeah.
And they've been paying all the furloughed workers.
For listeners who don't know, we have this casino, a couple of Indian casinos in our area, and one of them opens up, and the traffic, so it's rural, like this Indian casino is out there, sticks, and there's like a 2-lane road from the freeway. It's like 3 miles or something like that to this casino.
Yeah.
And they were showing on the news just this line of cars going all the way. There's a dude on Facebook that lives out there. Like he's just trying to, trying to get home,
Yeah.
And they're just sitting in the friggin' traffic for an hour just to get from the freeway to his house. Like that would be horrible, man.
People are weird.
Emerald Queen opened today too.
What did?
Emerald Queen Casino.
Yeah. It's going to be interesting to see what the next couple of weeks look like.
Yeah.
If we get another big spike. Yeah, some stuff seems like it's going to be okay. Doing construction today seemed totally fine.
Yeah.
Like we all wore masks. Nobody made a big deal about it. We did a pretty good job of keeping distant from each other. It wasn't difficult at all. But yeah, there's some, like the casino, like I just can't see how that's going to end well. Like
every other machine is turned on, but it just limits how many people can go in there. People outside in line.
They probably don't have mandatory masks either, huh?
They do.
Oh, they do?
Yes.
Well, that'll help.
Yeah, that'll help.
That should help.
Yeah.
Okay.
And Angel of the Winds eliminated smoking, so you can't smoke in there either.
So they spray you down prison style with Lysol when you...
They take your temperature when you walk in.
Yeah, they get a little
mask you up, and then like it is every other pull slot machine. I can't remember. I don't think they're open. They're not all their games aren't open.
Okay.
It's a limited scale, but God, people are just so freaking hungry to get out.
Yeah.
And interact, and just gamble.
But man, like, I hope they clean those machines like crazy after someone leaves one. Like, my whole thing is, like, I like to go sit at a machine and play it for like 2 or 3 pulls. And if I'm not feeling it, I'll get up and go use another machine.
Yeah.
And that wouldn't work.
Well, would it be rude if you brought your own wipes in?
Yeah, I don't know.
I don't, because some of those machines are really touchy as to what you can spray on them.
Yeah, that's true.
So it'll be interesting.
They probably, I'm assuming they have, every aisle's just got a person sitting there waiting to disinfect stuff.
Yeah. But I don't think the restaurants are open either.
Yeah. It's such a funny thing. Like, all the stuff you can do in that casino, you can do from your computer at home.
Yeah.
That's true.
Like, you're just sitting in front of another computer, basically.
Well, the governor legalized sports gambling now here in Washington State, so that'll be interesting.
Yeah.
I wonder if Tulalip, like during this time, like had the construction crew in there, like putting together. So if you go to Vegas, like they have their own section for sports gambling.
It's its own thing. Yeah.
People watching horse racing or whatever it is. Horse racing's back too. Like some of the horse race track, Emerald
Downs
ones, is without fans, but they get a certain percentage of the purse, and the take and the sports betting. So that'll help keep them in business, hopefully.
But I think that's people just want a distraction.
Yeah.
And that's one of the nice things. I mean, I think I hit the shitter last Monday. I was it. I mean, I blew up here. I was throwing F-bombs and it was something that didn't really, it wasn't worthy of my response, but I was just so frustrated with everything. Frustrated that I'm stuck in the damn house for most of the day, except for taking the dog out. Although I did start going back down to the Port of Everett Saturday morning and walking, which is hilarious because you have the full gamut of people and their COVID fears. Runners running with those masks, not the the kind that you pull up around your ears, and they'll pull them up when they see me coming. And I walk, I give them I give them 10, 15 feet. They still pull that sucker up, and you got the old timers with their bandanas pulled down around their faces, and it's pretty cool. But nobody will talk to you. I mean, not nobody, but a lot of people won't even talk. So don't make eye contact with me because I'm not talking to you. It's just weird just watching people's reactions. Last Monday.
There was a thing on the radio today. Some lady was talking about going to the Port of Everett, and that's like her spot to go when she needs to get out of the house. And she'll just sit in her car down by the water. And and I remember being down there. I went down there with my daughter a couple of weeks ago because we just had to get out of the house and do something. And there was a bunch of people, and they were pretty distant from each other, but you could tell they were just sitting in their car hanging out.
Mm-hmm.
It's a fairly popular spot for that. And it's nice.
Usually down there on the weekends, I'm down there by 8. And I'm out of there by 8. I took my dog down for the first time Saturday. And we saw maybe 2 or 3 other people early.
Yeah.
But if you go in the afternoon, like it'd probably be pretty crowded down there this afternoon. Just because the weather's nice.
I did a bunch of yard work today because it was finally, dry enough. The grass got dry enough for me to cut it, and get out there. And that felt good just to get out of the house and in the sun and do that. The last 2 days have been kind of kicking around in the house. And like there's these times where I feel like, I should get up in the morning and just drink some coffee and, I don't know, read or study. Like there's this version of me over here that is doing the things that I should or ought to be doing, right? And we've talked about that before, but I feel it lately, like I want to be this guy who's kind of disciplined, you know, and he's up early and he's, you know, he's calculating out his day and he's going to get some shit done today or whatever. Even if it's watching TV or something. But the part of me just wants to lay in bed until 11, which is pretty much, my wife and I got out of bed at like 10 o'clock this morning, you know, and that's been kind of the thing since Friday. Just getting up, going to the bathroom, you know, sex, there's that. But, you know, it's been not productive, which is okay. But it just feels like it, like you're just talking about, Steve, when you're talking about that frustration and walking around.
Mm-hmm.
Like my wife goes, "You're swearing a little more than usual. Like, are you all right? Like, are you just frustrated? Like, what's going on?" But I think that's part of it, is that I don't know if I'm disappointed in myself.
I am.
Or I'm just out of rhythm. I don't know.
No, I think it's a little of all that. I know it is for me.
Yeah. Panic.
Yeah.
I used to have panic attacks as a kid. Speaking of panic, and I didn't really know what they were. And today I've had them as an adult, but not as much. But it's weird how you can feel that thing kind of creeping up on you from behind, you know? It's almost like when you're walking, Steve, and you, like, what's that, you know?
Yeah.
So I've also been using a lot of my tools, you know, it's email with a friend and talking about that. My breathing, you know, meditation, stopping and just laying in bed, putting headphones on, listening to one of those kind of YouTube sort of, you know, 10-minute tracks, even if it's guided. I don't usually do guided meditations. I like the music and certain frequencies and vibrations, if you will. But I've had to discipline myself to do that. It's a choice, right? Isn't it a choice? Like there's a rhythm and then there's like this, I have to make a choice on whether I'm going to go fucking nuts and start to sink into that panic attack mode, or am I gonna, I guess I'm old enough now to know my rhythms. I don't know. What do you guys experience any of that?
Yeah, that's what I worked on with my therapist for a year. I mean, the big thing that she kept saying over and over again was, you know, working on choosing your thoughts. It's funny that you brought up the panic attack thing in the kid, because I just relived, just kind of randomly a couple of days ago. I remember I went to Boy Scout camp, and I had been there the year before and had a great time, but that time I went, something just was off, and I just started. I got just super freaked out, and I couldn't turn it off for hours at a time, where I would just almost, you know, completely shut down and couldn't function. Yeah, like racing thoughts, worst case scenarios running through my head, like super obsessive focused on it. And you know, my parents and I just kind of explained it away as being homesick, which was part of the factor of what was going on. But you know, I hadn't really connected that with being with like, no, that was a physiological response to some irrational fear.
Yeah.
And I'd had moments like that in the past, but that was like an entire week, and it was probably like 9 days where I just could not shut it off.
I had a few nights where I would shiver, and I was kind of cold, but not cold enough to be like shivering.
Right.
But I would get this shiver about me, and I remember I came in one night. I was outside, and it wasn't that cold out there, but I came in and we were sitting there watching TV, and I was sort of shaking, and you know, my wife's like, "Are you cold?" You know, I go, "Not really, not that I should be shivering like I am." But yeah, that was one of those things where I had to, you know, all right, am I just, what is this, you know, and taking stock. A lot of it's my breath, you know, just getting that. I am so used to, for most of my life, just having short breaths when I'm stressed.
Yeah, I do the same thing.
Yeah, and just when I started breathing, I felt the shivers went away and stuff. almost like it felt like having way too much caffeine, even though it was nighttime, and you know, it was weird. But yeah, I resonate. I feel you. How about you? You? Anything weird like that going on?
No, you know, I woke up a little this morning. I did wake up a little anxious, but I've noticed that and that's why I'm drinking water tonight. I just noticed I've been drinking way more, you know, as opposed to I've been drinking 3 or 4 bottles of beer a night, and I'm like, I don't do that, you know, and it is just that disconnect, you know, just, I don't want to feel, you know, I don't want to think about what it could be. I don't want to think about what might happen. I just want to, and I think we talked about this. I think we talked about this that first night, didn't we, at your place, Derek, about the fear of the unknown, you know, and that to me has always been a biggie.
Yeah.
You know, what might happen. And I don't really dwell on it as much as I think about how dark it could go. So I guess I do kind of dwell with it. You know, what if this thing continues on to 2021, you know, as far as economic crapper, you know, that,
Yeah.
Or here's where I go is at the casino, which is by far my largest account, comes back next month and they're not buying from us. They're buying from somebody else again. And I'm like, oh, you know, I had nothing to base that on, but that's where I go.
Yeah. So most of the stuff we worry about doesn't happen.
No, it doesn't.
Statistically. Right. But yeah.
Well, last Monday night, I got together on Zoom with 5 college buddies. We were all in each other's weddings. Our kids all knew each other. We'd go over to Spokane for Hoop Fest and hang out for that week. And we did a Zoom meeting last Monday night, and that was really good. We're spread out all over. My wife's brother's in Spokane. One of my buddies is in South Africa. Another's over in Kitsap. One's in Phoenix. And it was just fun to get together and reconnect. Like, we'd spend that week together. We'd drink and smoke cigars and laugh and outside and just get, you know, our families all be together. And it was good to connect with them. And I think that helped, you know, just to get some semblance of connection.
Yeah.
I've been spending a lot more time talking with my siblings. I actually had a phone conversation with my sister for almost 2.5 hours, which is probably the longest conversation we've ever had. Like, I was sitting like by a long shot.
Wow.
Which was interesting. I kind of, fucked the whole thing up later because some fairly intense stuff came up, and then that wasn't over phone, that was over text, and I don't know how to comfort people over text.
Oh, gotcha.
And then I kind of panicked and fucked up, so I had to apologize for that. But yeah, it was really good. It was a good conversation. It was really nice to connect with her.
Yeah. Wow, that's pretty cool. That's big. Derek's sister was on the show. I've interacted with her on Facebook.
She's one of our regular listeners. She'll probably listen to this one. She listens to most of them.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
I haven't been talking to my family. You know, I can't get near my mom. She's 87. Yeah. I did go over to Mother's Day, and I stayed out on the road. I went out and I bought her a card and put flowers on the front porch and stayed out. And my brother was out in the yard working, and I said, hey, tell Mom I'm out front, and Mom's hard of hearing. So that was really fun. I was yelling across the yard, and everybody was appreciating it. But my wife and I talked, and when the only reason we get together now is for my mom.
Yeah.
Family. So when my mom passes away, I'm not gonna make a ton of effort. I mean, that's one of the things I think is you go through these kind of situations when there's more intensity and pressure. you start seeing some stuff, and I just realized how fucked up my whole upbringing's been. That just we never talked about what we're feeling, so I never understood what I was feeling. I just felt it, and then would react out of it.
Yeah.
But that was my dad. My dad would never. I don't think I heard one time my dad tell me what he felt, except that he was mad at me.
Yeah, that's hard. It's a kind of emotional abuse, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
And I just pray I haven't screwed my kids up too badly.
Me too.
They talk to me, call me all the time, so that's always good. But yeah, it's like, I don't know how they're as normal as they are.
Yeah, man.
Having me for a dad.
Family. The family's tough. I tried to call my stepmom. My mom's no longer with us. So I tried to call my stepmom. She didn't answer, and she hasn't called me back, which is kind of weird and ironic. But yeah, my dad and her live in Arizona. I think my dad got a new phone and forgot to give me the number or something. I don't know. They're getting up there. But yeah, family this time. Yeah, that's an interesting one as far as survival panic goes. Is because family is sort of who you lean on when you got nobody else, right?
Mm-hmm.
And how people connect with family over Zoom. It's funny that Zoom is just this sort of silly video conference, but it takes a little extra effort, right? Like you got to take a time out and set a schedule and get an email link and all that. But yeah, it's weird how the people you want to see, you'll make the Zoom effort, right?
Yeah.
I was trying to get Skype working because I didn't want to pay for Zoom, but
did you get a discount code for it?
Yeah, I did. I actually, the one that you were talking about it expired today.
Oh.
But I found another one. CNN had one, of all things. CNN had Zoom coupons on their website. Just did a Google search, like, oh, okay.
Yeah, that's what my daughter, she's the one who told me about it. She Googled discounts everything. I'm like,
no.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Well, I bought that computer a couple of days ago. And right before I hit buy or hit the pay button, I was like, I wonder if there's any, coupons or anything. So I did a search and I got $160 off just from doing a search. Like, oh man.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Google search.
Yep.
Surviving. Yeah, I was thinking about like these survival shows, and how they, or like the show Survivor, where you put a bunch of people on an island and they have to, get along and they do alliances and stuff. But they're also trying to like cook food and not get eaten by bugs and shit like that.
It's funny you bring that up because I was just thinking about that on the way down to Kent today. Yeah. About how disappointed the preppers must be. like right, the whole idea of prepper is everybody else is going to die and suffer and be miserable. Like that's half of the appeal,
right?
Is that you're the smart one, and then everybody else is a bunch of fucking idiots. And like this is the worst pandemic we've seen, like the worst, global crisis we've seen in
in our lifetime, right?
3 generations maybe, right?
Yeah.
And most people are fine.
Yeah.
They're not, but no, very few Americans are totally starving to death and, and foraging for food or any of that shit. Like that's not what's going on.
Yeah. There was a few weeks ago, especially around here and in the East Coast too, all these, these plants that make food or package meat, where a bunch of people are getting sick and then they close down the plant. Everybody's talking about shortages and no, not really. I just went down to the grocery store today and my wife's been on this special diet and eating a lot of chicken. So she was gone today with her folks. And I was, I'm going to
the thing about the food chain is, grain stores for a really long time. And we got a shit ton of it. So even if the meat goes away and the fresh fruit and vegetables go away, like we can just make bread for forever.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Like,
we're not gonna die.
No.
We're gonna be okay.
We will be mildly inconvenienced for sure. Some people might be moderately inconvenienced.
Yeah.
But nobody's, I mean, crazy shit happens, but very few people are really going to feel this at an actual survival level. At a, Maslow's basic needs standpoint, food, water, shelter, heat, like very few people are really going to suffer to the point where they, are worried about dying soon.
Yeah. It's just the emotional kind of weight of it.
Right. But it still fucking sucks.
Around it. Yeah.
Yeah, it's still no fun at all.
Yeah. And it's sad how many people, I've done volunteer work with addiction over the years, and how many people are dying of drug overdoses right now, alcohol overdoses, suicide rates are up. People are drinking more.
That's going to be a whole thing.
Yeah.
It'll probably take, what, 8 to 12 months for that to really flush its way out.
Yeah.
But there's going to be a whole reckoning just with that.
I had a thing a few weeks ago, like speaking of what Steve was talking about, and I don't drink the big stout beers as much anymore. I've been kind of on a diet with my wife. My wife, I talked about that before, but so I'm kind of drinking water too. I got my Coors Light water.
Colored water.
Yeah, but I had, about a week ago, I was like, I need to stop drinking altogether. I mean, and sometimes I sink into some of that. Like there's that 12-step kind of like, no, you need to abstain and like just no more of that anymore because you're an addict. You're an alcoholic, Russ. So then I'll pull back and I'll be like, I know this sounds like denial. I go in 12-steppers. I go, oh, Russ is in denial. But I really do have more of a self-control kind of a approach to these things. And so I'll limit myself to how many drinks I'm going to have. And if I do overdo it, then, why was that? It's taking time to go, all right, why did you drink a 12-pack of light beer last night? Like that was a little excessive. And now you feel kind of silly or, sad in the morning. But yeah, it's being honest with myself about that place as well. So abstaining or, a reasonable amount of self-control. What do you think about that, Steve? I don't know. Like,
no, yeah, that's one of the things because I've also jumped off. I'm taking a Facebook hiatus. I didn't delete my account, but I deactivated it.
Okay.
Just because I was becoming so captured by everything.
Yeah.
Facebook is tough right now.
Yeah. So I just say, I just deactivated it. People are sending me notes. Hey, you okay, man? I haven't seen you. I go, yeah, I just taking a break. I haven't deactivated or deleted it, but I just taking a break.
Yeah.
But you realize, and it's one of the things I think, as we've been meeting, I'll ask, why am I doing that? Or what am I feeling? One of the things they're showing or they're saying is that, all these guys that have routines that keep them sober, that they don't have, they can't get together with their 12-step group or their support group or fill in the blank. And that's one of the things that is starting to manifest itself, because I think even at the grocery store, you run into people who are just pissed off.
Yeah. People on the road, like people
going the wrong direction,
crazy.
Man. Like, sorry, I wasn't looking down at the ground. So I'm a little bit more aware now because it's every other aisle. And I'm one of those anal guys that if I just want potato chips and they're at the end of the aisle, but it's the wrong direction, I'll go around and come down instead of just reaching in there. Unless, of course, I don't see anybody. But yeah, that's, and I'll catch myself just not eating, or I'll overeat, for whatever.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, there's two things. One is like there's never, like I kind of feel bad afterwards if I didn't at least indulge a little bit, because there's no like right like this is like the perfect excuse.
Yeah.
Like a
Like a
lot
cheat
of
day for
what?
months.
Right. But but then there's a danger to that, in that part of the reason, or a lot of the consequences, the natural consequences, have been removed, right?
Mhm.
Like people aren't working as much, like socially the pressure, and everybody's kind of agreed, like, look, we don't care about how we look right now. We don't, everybody's drinking a little bit more, everybody's smoking a little bit more, just, and it's kind of cool. And so that pressure to keep, that social pressure to keep it together is just lower than it used to be.
Yeah.
So finding that balance is a little tricky, because I have enjoyed some of the times where I've just overindulged, but there's that edge there of not of and there's been a couple times where it's like, okay, that didn't feel good,
Yeah.
because I've lost a bit of the ideal of who I think I am as a person, and that's a little scary sometimes. Even it's a little panicky when you have those moments of like, maybe I'm not living up to the standards that I kind of have for myself, and my identity got a little bit damaged in that. So trying to be careful of that, while also being kind of forgiving in some circumstances. Yeah, it's a weird balance.
Yeah. Giving yourself grace and being able to, I'm just a person, do the best I can out here. It's my first pandemic. It's everyone's first pandemic. We're all in this together, right? Like it's
Yeah,
so
those
true.
I get so tired of hearing that.
Yeah. All the cliches are just
Yeah, and it seems like the celebrities or the politicians are the big ones that say that.
yeah.
And they're not. How's it affecting them? They're
Yeah,
still getting their hair cut.
It's a very different pandemic for them.
Yeah, exactly.
That's been fascinating to watch. Is there's been a pretty significant backlash at celebrities.
Yeah.
Like culturally, there's been a lot of people that they're like, you know what, shut the fuck up. Like we don't even want to hear from you.
Yeah.
Like you're on your yacht, right?
Yep.
And you've got your servants and your your 50,000 square foot home and your fucking 40-acre ranch, and a lot of us are not in the same scenario. So just shut up.
Yeah. I saw, my wife and I were watching like Ryan and Kelly or something like that, and everyone's at home, and then they'll drop in on a celebrity on Zoom or something like this, and then the celebrity will say something like, well, it's not really different for me, in between movies or whatever. Like I have months off, sometimes years.
Fuck you.
I'm just hanging around my house anyway. This is just my life, and we're just like, fuck you,
Yeah.
Well, that's why I like Ricky Gervais or Gervais when he said at the, he told the celebrity, just shut the fuck up. You don't know, you have no idea.
Yeah.
You've never worked a day in your life, so stop.
Yeah.
He just, he sells it.
Yeah.
He's hilarious.
Yeah.
But that's like, I saw that one early on, Arnold Schwarzenegger was in his hot tub smoking his big cigar with his drink on his hand. Don't worry, we'll be all right. We're in this together. No, you're not.
Yeah.
Just shut up.
Oh man.
And even the pro athletes, they're all bitching now that the baseball guys, they're bitching that their salary's going to be prorated. NBA players are concerned that they're not going to get their next paycheck.
Yeah.
Dude, you make $300 million in this guaranteed contract.
There was a Seahawks player who's involved in a fucking home invasion. Did you guys hear about that?
Yeah, it's Quentin Dunbar.
What the fuck, man? Is it that bad? You're gonna go invade somebody's house? Jeez.
Yeah, was there 5 NFL players yesterday arrested?
Yeah.
On Sunday?
For a home invasion. Like, what the fuck is that? Is that some kind of adrenaline thing, or are you really hard on money?
One of the most dangerous things on the planet is a bored young man.
Yeah.
It's like
idle hands are the devil's workshop.
Yeah. There's some shit to that.
Yeah, that's what I was just thinking.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know, like John brought up the other day, like, can you imagine what would happen if we went through this and there wasn't such easy access to video games and pornography? Like, that's the shit that's keeping us safe right now.
Oh
Like,
man.
a bunch of fucking horny young men with nothing to do would have, like, if this had taken place in the late 80s, like,
Oh yeah.
the streets would be a fucking disaster.
Yeah.
I mean,
They would have tore shit
even
apart.
I feel bad for these guys that are living in apartments.
Yeah.
You know,
Totally.
my daughter and son-in-law they bought their home last March, just dodged it. I mean, it's a year ago they've been in their house, but it's nice because she says even in this house, she says we'll start to get at each other. I go, I know it. Right here in the house, my youngest just moved out last weekend, so it's just my wife and I again, and even that's been huge. But if this had been in the middle of the fucking winter when you
Yeah.
couldn't get out, oh God, no.
Yeah. I mean,
No, and they said the talk lines, suicide lines, are more populated. You know, they're getting more calls than they have ever had.
yeah.
I think
Yeah.
because a lot of us just that new reality, and they don't know what to do with it. You know, because they're
Loneliness.
faced with, who am I?
Yeah.
I think for me, one of the things I'm realizing is I'm not getting that feedback from my customer base every day. That's huge.
Mhm.
You know, even if it's only 2 or 3 minutes, they'll email me now or they'll text me, but it's just not the same as seeing their smiles, you know, catching up. How's your family? You know, how's your daughters? Blah, blah, blah. And that's one of the things I'm realizing. And it's starting to come back because like today I was out, I saw 4 customers. I'll mask up when I go in their medical offices and more for the people that are in there. I don't know what they're going through, but yeah, it's that I not knowing how they fit in this new reality, this new normal. You know, a lot of people's going to have to reinvent themselves.
Mhm.
I don't honestly doubt it. You know, we talked about this too. I don't think it'll ever be back to where it was.
No,
It's
in some
just,
ways it'll be. I mean, I was, yeah, again, thinking like driving to Kent without any traffic.
yeah,
There's definitely going to be some nice parts of that.
yeah,
But yeah, but there's definitely some stuff that'll, and I think that's what a lot of the really angry people are just kind of grieving that.
hmm
It's been really interesting watching the people um, that are the most angry and outspoken and think this is all a hoax and that type of thing.
Yeah.
Um, there seems to be a very strong pattern. One is they lost their job and they can't go back to work until this is over. And I get that, right? Like
hmm
they want desperately to believe that this is a hoax. Because that would be good news,
Yeah.
right?
right.
If this is a bunch of bullshit and they can look like a badass hero while also getting back, you know, to something that looks like normal, um, that would be great, right? So their hope is all in that. And then the other one is just incredibly lonely people.
Yeah.
Um, I talked to a guy the other day on Facebook who's like, yeah, very on the very extreme edge of extremism in terms of this is all fake and a hoax and that type of thing. Uh, and I just talked to him, you know, intelligently and respectfully, and I didn't get angry. And he was incredibly responsive,
Yeah,
uh, and like conceded some pretty significant points, and kind of, you know, and was really engaged. And we talked for about an hour. And I, you know, finished that and realized like 95% of your anger and frustration is the fact that you're just really lonely.
Mhm.
Um, and yeah, and you're not able to connect with people in a way that you want to.
Yeah.
yeah, because the way we've lived is taken away from us, and we got to blame somebody. You know, I'm actually going to like the idea of restaurants being less full.
That would be nice.
Yeah, you know, go to a theater and half full. Go to, you know, 6 feet. Hey, I'm cool with that. You know, I've never been a big fan of elevators with a lot of people in them anyway.
Yeah,
So,
Japanese culture is interesting because they are used to masks, like
Mhm.
they don't,
right.
they think it's weird that we don't, like we're fighting the masks, it's like, why, why, if somebody, especially Japan, because everything is so crammed together. Yeah, if you have any kind of symptoms, you just put a mask on. It's sort of common courtesy in their culture.
It's
And
been like a 30-year fixture for them.
yeah, yeah.
Uh,
But for
yeah.
us, I don't know if it's an American thing or, I don't know.
Did you see that study on how men have such a harder time wearing a mask than women?
No,
Because they perceive it as weak,
mm,
apparently, which is funny. But I feel some of that sometimes.
Oh, I do.
Yeah, but it's just such a weird thing. Like, and first of all, like the first thing that I tell myself is, you're wearing a mask. Nobody knows who you are, right?
Hmm.
Like who gives a shit if this person here thinks I'm a wimp? They don't know who I am because they can't see my face.
right.
Like, yeah, like,
Well, one of the
and like,
weird,
first of all, they're a stranger, so it doesn't really matter.
right.
But then, yeah, like it doesn't matter at all because they don't, yeah, they wouldn't even be able to recognize me if I took my mask off. But there
One of the
is,
things I just realized actually this week is that with that mask, unless your eyes are smiling, people can't tell if you're smiling or not.
yeah,
Like somebody will say something, and I'll look at them, and some people's face, you can tell their eyes, when they're
right,
smiling. But there's some that just you don't know.
yeah,
It's like a text. You don't know the tone of their voice.
yeah, it
Yeah.
changes humor.
Yeah,
Can't tell if they're joking or not.
yeah, exactly. And I feed off of that, and what I was talking to the gal, I'd stopped in and got a coffee or drive through at Starbucks, and the gal was talking to me. She goes, "How you doing with all this?" I said, "Good. How are you?" And she goes, I never realized how much I relied on lip reading
Hmm.
when I'm talking to people.
Yeah, that's a good point. My mother-in-law must be really struggling because she's like 75% deaf and she does a
Hmm.
lot of lip reading. So I hadn't even thought about that. But
Wow.
yeah, that would really struggle.
Yeah, that's
There's
just.
there's a whole demographic of people that wouldn't be
Uh-huh.
able to rely on that.
Yeah, lip reading isn't going to happen. I got a Mariners mask. My wife does a lot of business on Offer Up and stuff like that. So she found us, like she's Disney. She loves Disney. So she got Disney masks. And I got a Mariners mask, which it's funny you bring up the whole, with men. I feel weird about just wearing like a surgical mask or something like that. But now that I got my Mariners mask, it's
Yeah,
like
right.
a
That
bit of a fashion
made him
statement or something
made
like
it.
that. Like, hey, I missed fucking baseball, and I'm gonna wear my Mariners mask into the.
Well, it's like those biker masks, with the skull. Those would be awesome,
I
because
got one somewhere.
I do wear surgical, one of those little surgical masks, and I feel weird about it. But I've got a camo one coming, but it's coming from China,
I
so it's
was
taking forever to get here.
I was joking with a guy I was talking to the other day because he's a big libertarian, and I'm like, "What are you freaking out about? Libertarians love masks. Like, there's a long history of libertarians wearing, like, there's the Guy Fawkes mask, like all that shit. Like, yeah, hide yourself from the government so they don't know what you're doing.
Yeah,
Like, but the government tells you to wear a mask, and you have this like instant, like, fuck you aversion. This
that's
is
right.
like, yeah, no political parties love masks more than the libertarians.
Yeah, where's that
Except,
V for Vendetta mask now,
yeah,
motherfucker?
yeah,
Yeah,
the Guy
that thing,
Fawkes
that's what you
meme,
want.
the Guy
Well,
Fawkes mask. Yeah.
so what are they going to do when the banks, the lobbies are all open up?
Yeah, there's a bunch of criminals walking in there,
Yeah, because I
Already.
know,
bandana around your face. Like I've seen westerns. Come on,
yeah.
get the fuck out of my bank, motherfucker.
What are you doing?
Oh man! So the next episode, we're going to talk about sports, which will be awesome. Steve's got a big black kitty cat just crawled up on your shoulder.
No
Yeah,
kidding.
I love it.
That's
Wants to
Eli.
be wants to be full in frame too.
Hey, buddy.
Yeah, It's like, I'm joining this friggin' party.
Yeah.
But yeah, sports, man, that's going to be a really cool episode. I'm going to have to do a little research on that one because we did an episode on sports in the first season of this show.
It's our least popular episode.
Yeah, it was like perfectly
so let's see if we can do worse.
That too is an escapism.
Yeah, man.
We watch it. I know I watch it on Sundays. I'll just turn on either golf. Golf's awesome on Sunday afternoons.
Yeah.
You can just turn the volume down, and it
like
goes off and
golf.
back and off and back.
Lazy day.
But yeah, it's that transference, maybe. I don't know. But I love watching baseball. I love watching football. I'm not much of a basketball fan anymore since the Sonics left.
Yeah.
But love watching the MMA. And I noticed that without the fans, that it's not the same. Because on that NASCAR yesterday, the Darlington whatever, there was no pre-race track practices, no time trials. They limited their crew. So basically, get your car there, turn it, start it, and go.
Mm.
But there's no cheering. You heard a lot more noise from the cars. And even in the MMA, you heard their breathing, and you could hear the punches hit, where you're not going to hear it with the crowd.
Yeah.
You do get that that crowd. There's some energy from the crowd.
Yeah. Yeah.
Even on TV.
Yeah.
They should pump it in. They should do it fake.
Yeah. Like a laugh track.
Just have a guy with a switch, and every time something good happens, he just turns it up a little bit.
Have you watched any of those old shows with that laugh track in it?
Yeah, we might have to go back to it.
Oh my God, that's horrible.
I know, isn't that awful?
Oh, comedian.
Yes.
Didn't used to notice, but man,
no.
It's tough now.
Oh yeah.
There's comedians though. I was watching on YouTube. There's this guy. He kind of got his start on YouTube, and he does a thing called the social distancing social hour, which is kind of funny. And it's a live thing, but he'll have other comedians come in as sort of the audience, because comedy is one of those things, like, you really need to feed off the crowd. It's hard to be funny when there's no one in the listening to you.
Right.
And so he'll do these like little comedy shows where there'll be like 3 comedians will perform, but the whole Zoom screen will be full. There'll be like 10 people in the Zoom thing that he records, and it's kind of cool how they are sort of the audience, right? Like they're all laughing or whatever, chuckling to whatever the comedian says. And it's interesting how maybe sports will have to do something like that. I don't know.
But we don't want to ruin it for next week.
That's right. So we're gonna check out here. Thanks for listening to the podcast, Punk Theology Pod on Twitter.
Yeah, reach out to us.
Yeah, man, send us an email. punktheologypodcast@gmail. You can see our ugly mugs on YouTube if you stop by our YouTube channel. Punktheology.net is the website, which has had a bit of a facelift. So stop on by. We'd love to see you.
Cool.
Till next time, we're out. Peace.
Be gone.
Later.